Welcome to the Numerology and Astrology for November 16th, 2021. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 14, and if you add the 1 and the 4 together, you get the number 5. Today is the number 5, and it reminds us that within our core is a perfect self, one that is a teacher and a person that wants to help others. The number 5 is about embracing humanness, embracing the physically complicated and emotionally challenging life that is this world. We are here to relish in the sensuality and passionate embrace that is this incarnation, and to know that even in this density, we are learning to expand love into those darkest corners of reality. While the physical world, the number 5, can seem a scary, dangerous, and chaotic place, there is a process to learning an essential lesson that this plane of existence offers, and that is compassion. Only by being in the density do we learn to embrace our flaws and channel that energy into a deeper place of understanding. This domain is to help us learn to love in ways that we never thought were possible. It teaches us forgiveness and to accept certain experiences of limitation and how to keep going even in the face of failure. While the number 5 represents the domain of the physical world, it also presides over ether, the 5th element of life. It is also the astrological asteroid Pales that represents our talents in the arts, defense, intuition, justice, and artisan endeavors. I find that combination interesting, don't you? How defense is aligned with intuition. That is because in learning to make the right moves and choices in chaotic situations is usually a challenge, one that relies on us being in a crisis and relies on us trusting our instinct and intuitive knowing that comes from another realm. Pales was also a goddess of negotiation because one has to have a sense or an intuitive knowing about what to say and how to proceed. While her brother Aries was the god of decimation, chaotic battle, bloodlust, ferocity, rage, never giving up, and violence, Pales was the goddess of strategy, organized fighting, the creation of advanced weaponry, and the skilled manipulation of opponents on the battlefield. Aries was all about attack and offense, but Pales was all about strategy of defense and a controlled mind that shows strength and intelligence. While Aries thrives in utter chaos, Pales wants to masterfully handle situations and make them into a win-win. So, today, notice what types of battles you choose. Notice how you choose to fight a situation. Do you struggle with the injustices of this world? Do you think things through before you strategize a course of action? Do you allow situations to throw your focus and make you take things too far? Today, take a look at where you choose to fight and where you choose to negotiate. Allow a greater intelligence to come into you that will allow for a greater wisdom to shape your choices and actions. The astrology today. The moon is in Aries until this evening, and then it goes into Taurus. But for most of today, this moon will help us in giving a boost in confidence and support an enthusiastic response to our daily grind. The sun will sextile to Pluto, and that too will add a bit of vigor to our soul and spirit. There is an impulse to go deeper and to make connections that support our goals and dreams. Somehow, we have a stronger dedication to get to our goals, and that will allow us to embrace many new places for self-improvement. Goals seem just beyond our reach, but we can see them and that can motivate us towards that potential. Insights give us answers to old problems, and there is a gusto to do some deeper digging to find solutions. Once the moon goes into Taurus, that sense of security and comfort makes us look towards the plans for Thanksgiving and the upcoming holidays. We want to bring in those things that are warming, familiar, and traditional. My quote for today. Can you feel that turn that people have had enough, tired of all the lies, avoidance, deception, and fluff? I am excited to feel this turn of events. We are all exhausted from the hateful giving their 2 cents. There is a process where all tides will turn. Too much fire and loss will allow us to return to a civility of responsibility, to a deeper trust, one that is about life and not about us. While I know that everyone is worn out and afraid, I know that more are seeing through this charade. And now it is time for the greater work to begin. Those with hope and compassion will lead us in. and my blog for today. I look back on my past relationships and notice how they reflected so much of my disowned self. The parts that I could not see were embodied in their dysfunctions and patterns that triggered me greatly. While I always was aware that what upsets me in my deeper friendships and mates was a reflection of the disowned parts within, I still did not see the depth to which such beliefs had wound their way through my nervous system, hiding as other things and preventing me from seeing parts of myself. Now older and hopefully wiser, I have an ability to step back and observe with a detached eye and recognize that the attraction that pulled at me so deeply to those people was the dysfunction within that I had tried and still denied. And I realized that my desire to connect with them was an attempt to connect with parts of myself that I had pushed so far away that I was oblivious to the internal patterns of fear, anxiety, stress, self-worth, and insecurity that I was still seeking and needing to connect with in order to be whole. The journey to forgiveness of others is all about making a choice to love them and therefore those parts within unconditionally. Forgiveness is an external expression of unconditional love. And some internal aspects do not feel safe with us until they see that external unconditional love being expressed to others first. I look at the men in my life that will forever hold places of great growth in my soul, and I see that some of them were so stuck in fear, and even now are still stuck in so much fear that they are unconsciously trapped by the entrapments of ego and their ego's manifestation in the external world of their personal need to be validated by a powerful material world journey. That way, they get to deny and avoid taking responsibility for their own fears and insecurities. I see now that I had bonded to them on a shared wound, and that wound was what created the attraction. The angels told me in my 20s that most people do not understand that the angels create attraction between two people in order for them to come together in love, in order to work through those patterns together. The stronger the attraction, the more critical it is to look at the patterns unfolding. If we cannot see it within ourselves, perhaps we can see it in another and learn to love that place in them and eventually learn to love that part within us. It is so wonderful that now I can see those places within myself, and I have tried to address those internal conversations to the point that I can observe the external manifestation in others and not be triggered at all. I see that as the process. The guides always said completion is neutral, and being able to observe without needing to fix someone or something is the journey. That is because no one is broken. We just lost track of parts within that felt the need to hide. I feel so much more integrated in how I observe others doing patterns that I know will cause them and those around them suffering. I know that it is the journey for all of us, and there is no need in my core to be something special to help them. If they ask me for help and I have the tools and techniques to help them, I will. But what some do not realize is that not every teacher, guru, mystic, or psychic has all the tools every person needs to grow fully into an enlightened and an awakened being. I have learned to give what I have and can, and then be wise and kind enough to let others go on their way. Too often I have seen those that take off in a direction that I cannot follow, nor is it my path to walk. That is why we all must go on our own paths. The best thing to do is release others with great love and care and give them the nudge to step onto their path. That is how we serve. Never be attached to things in this realm. It is just a hologram of a commingled intention and reality. What we truly are is so much more vast and wonderful than this current expression of life can show. Thanks, everyone.